Imagine a place where dreams come to life and nightmares are born. Welcome to the Hotel Cecil, a grand building from another time, steeped in history and mystery. But beneath its towering walls and glimmering windows lies a darkness that has left its mark on countless lives. Some guests check in for adventure, a fresh start, or maybe just a night's rest. Yet, this hotel holds secrets that not everyone survives to tell. Over the decades, strange and chilling events have unfolded here. People come through its doors, filled with life and plans for tomorrow, only to vanish without a trace. In this story, we'll uncover the whispers that echo through its halls and explore the many lives this hotel has claimed. Is it mere coincidence, or is there something far more sinister waiting within? Step inside if you dare and join us as we unravel the enigma that is the Hotel Cecil, a place where reality meets the unknown and not everyone makes it out. In the year 1924, Los Angeles was a city bursting with dreams. The streets were busy with cars, people were dressed in fine clothes, and there was excitement in the air. The city was growing and everyone believed it was a place where anything could happen, a place where you could make a new start or find fame. Right in the middle of this lively city, a grand hotel opened its doors for the first time. This hotel was named the Hotel Cecil. At first, the Hotel Cecil seemed like it was everything people wanted. It was a tall, fancy building that seemed to promise luxury and comfort. People with big dreams and bright hopes came from all over to stay here. Inside, it had shiny floors, big, sparkling chandeliers, and rooms that looked comfortable and warm. Many thought it was a place where they could feel safe, rest, and be treated like royalty, even if only for a night. But soon, whispers began to spread. People started to talk about strange things that happened here, stories that made guests and even the workers feel uneasy. They would hear about guests who checked in but were never seen again. Families came looking for their loved ones, but it was as if they had just vanished into thin air. No one could explain what was happening. The hotel, which was supposed to be a place of happiness and comfort, became a place where people felt fear and dread. The stories only grew. It wasn't long before people started calling the Hotel Cecil by a new name, a name that would give anyone chills. They began calling it the hotel where people disappear. People said it was cursed, that bad luck followed anyone who stepped inside. But was it really a curse? Or was there something hiding within the hotel, something dark and dangerous that made people disappear? As the years went by, fewer people wanted to stay there. The stories kept coming one after another. Guests who heard about the disappearances were filled with worry. Some said they could feel something strange as soon as they walked in, like they were being watched, like someone or something was following them. But for many it was too late. By the time they felt that chill, they were already inside the hotel, already part of its dark and haunting history. And for some it would be their final stop, the last place they would ever see. It didn't take long for strange things to start happening at the Hotel Cecil. By the 1930s, just a few years after it first opened, guests were beginning to disappear without a trace. Imagine someone checking in just like any other guest. They'd walk up to the front desk, maybe smile at the clerk, get their room key, and head down the hall to their room. But after that, nothing. They were never seen again. At first, people thought these were just accidents, or maybe that the guests had simply decided to leave without telling anyone. Some believed they had run away, perhaps wanting to escape their old lives and start fresh somewhere else. But then it kept happening. One guest disappeared, then another, and another. People began to talk, wondering what was really going on. The police were called in to investigate. They searched rooms, questioned hotel staff, and tried to find any clue that would explain where these people had gone. But each time they left with no answers. It was like the guests had simply vanished into thin air, leaving behind no trace at all. No bags, no clothes, no signs of a struggle, nothing to explain their sudden disappearance. Hotel staff, too, began to feel uneasy. Some of them whispered among themselves, wondering if the hotel was cursed. Others said they could hear strange noises at night, footsteps echoing in empty hallways, doors creaking open and shut on their own. Some even claimed to see shadows moving in the corners of their eyes, only to look and find nothing there. But for each guest who vanished, there was always someone new ready to check in, hoping that maybe the stories weren't true. They wanted to believe that the Hotel Cecil was just like any other hotel. They wanted to feel safe. But as the years went on, fewer people were willing to stay. The hotel's dark reputation had started to grow. It was becoming a place of secrets, a place where people seemed to disappear, and where no one had any answers. More guests vanished, slipping into the darkness of the hotel's halls, as if the building itself was swallowing them up, and each disappearance only made the mystery deeper, scarier, and more confusing. Now let's go forward to the 1950s. a time when Hollywood was shining bright with stars and movies. People dreamed of becoming famous, of walking red carpets, and of making a name for themselves. One of these people was a young woman named Elizabeth Short. She had big dreams, like so many others. She wanted to be a movie star and live a life filled with excitement and glamour. But sadly, Elizabeth's life took a very dark turn. Elizabeth was often called the Black Dahlia because she wore a lot of black clothes and had a unique, mysterious style. She became quite well known, but not for the reasons she wanted. She was known because of something terrible that happened to her. One night, Elizabeth was seen at the Hotel Cecil. She may have been staying there or just passing through, but this was one of the last times anyone saw her alive. Not long after Elizabeth's body was found, her death was shocking and horrifying. The newspapers were filled with stories about what happened to her, and people across the country were talking about the mystery of the Black Dahlia. Her story became one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in America. The police searched for clues, questioned people, and tried everything they could to find out who was responsible for her tragic death, but they never found the person who did it. The fact that Elizabeth was last seen at the Hotel Cecil added another layer to the hotel's dark and frightening reputation. People began to wonder if the hotel itself was somehow connected to her death. They whispered that maybe the hotel was cursed, that it attracted sadness, darkness, and danger. It seemed like everyone who stayed there had a secret, a sadness, or something troubling them, and sometimes those people didn't leave. Elizabeth's story was one of the saddest and scariest connected to the hotel. Her death remains unsolved to this day, a mystery that people still talk about. Some believe her spirit, along with the spirits of others who vanished at the hotel, might still linger there. Whether or not it's true, her story left a permanent mark on the hotel's history, making it even more famous, but in a chilling way that most people would rather forget. From that moment on, the hotel became known as a place of tragedy. Elizabeth's story, the story of the Black Dahlia, was just one of many that painted the Hotel Cecil as a place where dreams turned into nightmares. A place where young, hopeful people like Elizabeth came, only to be lost forever in the shadows. The story of the Hotel Cecil continued to get darker as the years went on. By the 1980s, people already knew it was a place with a spooky history. But then, something even more terrifying happened. The hotel became the hiding spot for a very dangerous man, someone people would later call the Night Stalker. This man's real name was Richard Ramirez, and he was one of the most feared criminals of that time. He did terrible things, and people were terrified of him. The strange part was that, for a while, he used the Hotel Cecil as a place to hide from the police. He would leave at night to do his horrible acts, and then he would come back to the hotel like any other guest. Nobody knew that this man walking through the halls was responsible for so much fear and pain. Richard Ramirez didn't look like a monster. He looked like an ordinary person. People would see him in the hallways, maybe even riding the elevator, and they had no idea that he was so dangerous. Guests slept in their rooms, thinking they were safe, never realizing that someone so terrifying was staying just a few doors away. During this time, people noticed strange things around the hotel. Some guests said they could hear footsteps late at night when everything was quiet. Others said they felt like they were being watched. It was as if the walls of the hotel were holding on to secrets, dark, scary secrets that people couldn't explain. And all the while, the Night Stalker continued his terrible deeds, using the hotel as his hideaway. Eventually, the police caught Richard Ramirez, and people learned the truth about what he had done and where he had been hiding. They were shocked to find out that he had been staying at the Hotel Cecil. This made the hotel's reputation even scarier. It was no longer just a place where strange things happened, it was a place where a very real and very dangerous criminal had once lived. After this, people began to avoid the hotel even more. They didn't want to stay in a place where such a terrifying person had once walked the halls. It felt like the hotel had a dark energy, as if all the sadness and fear of the past had built up over time, making it a place that drew in tragedy and danger. The Hotel Cecil wasn't just an old building in Los Angeles anymore. It had become a symbol of mystery and horror. People wondered why such a place attracted so much darkness. They didn't have answers, but one thing was clear: the hotel's story was far from over, and the shadows in its halls only seemed to grow darker. In 2013, a young woman named Elisa Lam arrived at the Hotel Cecil. Elisa was a college student who was traveling on her own, exploring new places. She was just like any other young traveler, excited to see new things and enjoy her journey. But Elisa's story took a turn that no one could have expected, a turn that would make her case one of the most mysterious events in the history of the Hotel Cecil. Elisa had checked into the hotel, and everything seemed normal at first. She called her family to let them know she was okay, and she seemed to be in good spirits. But after a few days, her family stopped hearing from her. She missed her checkout date, and her family started to worry. This wasn't like Elisa. She was usually responsible and always stayed in touch. They called the hotel, hoping to hear she was fine, but Elisa wasn't there. She was missing. Her family asked the police for help, and the officers came to the hotel to investigate. They searched her room and asked the hotel staff if they'd seen her, but nobody had any answers. There were no signs of where she might have gone, and no clues left behind to explain her sudden disappearance. It was as if she had simply vanished. Then they found something strange, a security video from the hotel's elevator. This video was the last recorded sighting of Elisa, and it showed her acting in a way that puzzled everyone. In the video, Elisa steps into the elevator, but instead of pressing one floor button, she presses several of them all at once. She stands in the corner, then peeks out of the elevator as if she's looking for someone. Her movements are quick and nervous, as if she feels someone is nearby. At one point, she steps out of the elevator, waves her hands in the air, and seems to be talking to someone except no one else is there. The video is eerie and confusing. People who watched it couldn't understand what was happening. Was Elisa playing a game? Was she scared? Was someone following her and she was trying to hide? Each time people thought they had an answer, the questions just got bigger and stranger. Elisa's story quickly spread, and people all around the world began watching the video of her in the elevator. The way she moved, the fear in her eyes, it left everyone feeling unsettled, even scared. The video became famous and people shared it, asking the same questions over and over. What had happened to Elisa Lam? And why did it happen in this hotel, a place already known for dark and disturbing events? Some people say her case is just a mystery that will never be solved. Others think there might be something more, something hidden within the walls of the Hotel Cecil. Elisa's story became the most chilling and heartbreaking chapter in the hotel's long, dark history. Her disappearance, her last moments in that elevator, and the questions that remain make her story one of the greatest mysteries of all. After Elisa disappeared, people at the hotel started noticing something strange. Guests began complaining about the water in their rooms. They said the water tasted odd, kind of strange, and it looked darker than usual. Some guests even said the water had a funny smell. It was so unusual that guests couldn't help but feel uneasy. They didn't know what was wrong, but they felt something wasn't right. The hotel decided to check the water tanks on the roof, thinking there might be a problem with the water supply. So they sent a maintenance worker to climb up to the roof and look inside the tanks. This was a big job because the tanks were tall, heavy, and locked to keep people safe. Climbing up to these tanks wasn't something anyone did often. They were hard to reach, and most people didn't even know they were there. As the maintenance worker reached the top, he unlocked the tank and opened the lid. What he found inside was something he could never have imagined. There, floating in the water, was Elisa's body. The worker was shocked and horrified. He had just found the missing girl everyone had been looking for, and it was in a place no one would have thought to look. It was a discovery that left him shaken, and soon the whole hotel was filled with fear and sadness. The police came to the hotel right away. They closed off the area and began their investigation. They had so many questions. How did Elisa get into the tank? The tank was locked, and reaching it was difficult, even for the workers. Elisa would have had to climb up and somehow get inside on her own. It didn't make sense. The police tried to piece together what happened, but every answer seemed to lead to more questions. After examining everything, the police decided that Elisa's death was probably an accident. They believed she may have climbed into the tank on her own, but they couldn't fully explain why or how. But this explanation left many people feeling unsettled. How could a young woman end up in a locked water tank on a rooftop? Was she alone, or was something more mysterious at play? To this day, people wonder about the truth behind Elisa's death. Some believe it was just a tragic accident. Others think something far more sinister was involved. Elisa's story is one that many people will never forget. It's a mystery that continues to haunt the minds of those who hear it, making people wonder if the Hotel Cecil holds secrets that we may never fully understand. Now imagine being one of the families whose loved one went missing at the Hotel Cecil. Imagine the worry, the endless nights of waiting, hoping for any news. Picture a mother, a father, or a friend checking the door every day, thinking maybe today they'll come back. But each day passes and there's no word, no sign. Just silence. They're left with only memories and pictures, wondering what could have happened. For these families, the pain never goes away. Some have waited years, never knowing what happened to their loved one. They hold onto old photos and letters, trying to keep hope alive even when it feels impossible. They remember their loved one's smile, their laugh, and all the moments they shared. But all they have now are questions that never seem to get answers. Some families put up posters around the city, hoping someone has seen their loved one. Others reach out to the police again and again, asking for updates, even when there's no new information. They search the streets, call hospitals, and check any place where their loved one might be. Each time they hope maybe this time we'll find them, but for many the search continues and the heartbreak deepens. The Hotel Cecil has become a place of sorrow for these families. When they think of it, they feel a mixture of hope and fear. They hope to find answers but fear what those answers might be. They wonder if the hotel holds secrets that might explain why so many people disappeared. Some families believe that there's something wrong with the hotel, something that draws in darkness and mystery. Others think there may be people behind these disappearances, people they might never know. Each family has their own story, but they are all connected by the same pain. They are haunted by the empty space left by someone they loved. They can't move on, can't find peace, because they don't know what happened. Every time they hear a knock at the door, they hope it's the person they lost, coming home at last. But the door opens and there's no one there. These families live in a world of waiting and wondering. They can't rest until they find out the truth. The Hotel Cecil has taken something precious from each of them: a sister, a son, a friend. And the mystery of what happened inside those walls remains, leaving families searching for answers, for closure, and for a peace they may never find. Today, when people look at the Hotel Cecil, they see more than just an old building. They see a place filled with mysteries and dark stories. Some people even believe the hotel is haunted, as if something scary and powerful is hiding in its walls. They wonder if maybe, just maybe, the hotel was cursed from the very beginning. Rumors and stories have surrounded the hotel for years. People say that strange things happen there, things that can't be explained. Guests talk about feeling a chill in the hallways, even when the air is warm. Some say they've heard whispers when no one else was around, or felt as if someone was watching them. Shadows seem to move in strange ways, and doors have been known to shut on their own. It's enough to make anyone feel uneasy, even if they don't believe in ghosts. One theory people have is that the hotel is cursed, that from the day it was built, it was meant to be a place of darkness. They believe that something evil lives there, something that attracts sadness and trouble. With so many people disappearing and strange things happening over the years, it's easy to understand why people think this way. Others think that the hotel has spirits of those who never left. They believe the spirits of the missing guests are still there, wandering the halls, searching for peace that they never found. Some people think these spirits are trying to reach out, trying to tell their stories, but they're trapped within the hotel's walls, unable to leave. Then there are those who think it's all just bad luck. They believe that nothing strange is happening, that it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's just an unlucky place where accidents and sadness happen too often. But even these people admit that there's something about the hotel that feels different. They can't explain why so many tragic events have happened there, but they're not ready to believe in curses or spirits. As the years go by, the Hotel Cecil's haunted reputation only grows. It's a place people visit out of curiosity, a place where some even hope to feel a little scared. They come to see if the stories are true, if they can feel the strange energy that others talk about. They want to know if the hotel's past still lives on in the shadows, in the flickering lights, and in the cold, empty hallways. Whether it's because of curses, spirits, or just bad luck, the Hotel Cecil remains a mystery, a place that seems to hold on to its secrets, keeping them hidden from the outside world. And maybe that's why people can't stop talking about it. They wonder if the hotel is more than just bricks and walls, if it's a place that somehow remembers all the dark and sad things that have happened inside. So as night falls and the lights flicker on in the hotel's windows, people ask themselves, is it just an old building, or is there something more? Something that watches, waits, and whispers in the dark? The Hotel Cecil stands silent, holding its secrets, leaving us to wonder about the truth that may never be revealed. And so we come to the end of the story of the Hotel Cecil, a place filled with more mysteries than answers. A place where people checked in, but many never checked out. A place that seems to remember every strange, sad, and scary thing that's ever happened inside its walls. Maybe we'll never understand why so many terrible things happened here. Was it just bad luck? Was the hotel cursed from the very start? Or did something far more mysterious take hold of this building, refusing to let go? We may never know for sure, but the questions keep us wondering. What could make a place so filled with darkness? Why did people vanish, and why did so many sad stories unfold in one single place? Even now, the Hotel Cecil stands tall, watching over the city. It looks like any other hotel, but those who know its story can feel that something about it is different. Some say they feel a chill just walking past, as if the building itself holds on to all the strange things that have happened there. Others say they hear whispers or feel as if someone or something is watching. But no matter what people believe, the Hotel Cecil's story continues to live on, growing in mystery and fear with each passing year. So, what do you think? Is the hotel haunted? Cursed? Or could it all just be a strange series of events, one eerie coincidence after another? We may never find the truth, but one thing is certain: the Hotel Cecil is a place that has captured the imagination and curiosity of people everywhere. And maybe in the end, that's the scariest thing of all, a place where the truth is forever hidden, leaving us with nothing but questions. Would you dare to stay there? Would you walk down its dark hallways, wondering if the shadows hide more than just empty rooms? And think about it, and ask yourself, if you did check in, would you be able to check out? If this story left you with chills or questions, let us know what you think. Do you believe in ghosts? Curses? Or do you think the answers lie in something we just can't explain? Share your thoughts below. And remember, the Hotel Cecil will always be waiting with secrets that might never be told.